everybody's doing good. We had an awesome Mega Agent Camp last week. Those of you were there, put something in the chat. What'd you get? What was your biggest aha? I was talking with Cody Gibson on Thursday, and he said the content was probably 60 or 70% AI. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. Yet that's kind of the industry and where it's going. And it was pretty impactful. Besides the fact that I came back with COVID, which is a whole nother thing. We're on the mend. Jason, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
I'm trying to figure out the
camera button.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'll keep rolling, and you get it together.
Yeah, you keep rolling, and I'll figure it out.
All right. So I want to point out a couple things to everybody. If you go to the real estate stats and you log in and you click on national statistics, we have uploaded all the slides Gary brought to the vision speech at Mega Agent Camp. So this is the latest and greatest. I'm not going to go through all of it because I think you should familiarize yourself with all this. But I am going to point out one thing. Gary is still predicting that 2025 is going to finish with more home sales than 2024. I'm cautious around that. But if you go into real estate stats and click on Atlanta statistics, you will see that in the month of June, we should have July real soon, but in the month of June, we had more home sales than the previous year. But 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to count January, the 4 previous months, we were behind the same month the previous year. So I'm cautious of saying this. I'm waiting to see what July came in at. I know Luke's been working on these stats. I'm assuming we'll have July here real soon. But it looks like
there right now if you just refresh the page and go down to that.
Right. So let me get back to it. Right here. Let me take these years off. So
it's not showing yet, but I just put the number.
Is it more or less, Luke?
It's 6525.
So it was less. So we had less home sales in July than the year before in Atlanta.
5% down. Yes.
Much?
5.86% down.
All right. So I'm not sure. Y'all can't hear. Can nobody hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay. They're saying somebody's saying I can hear. Okay. Hubert said, okay. Somebody check your audio. We're talking. All right. So I don't believe we're going to finish up in 2025 in Atlanta. I think we'll be neutral or a little bit behind. But we'll wait and see, right? Like these months towards the end of the year were kind of low last year, so maybe we'll outperform third and fourth quarter. I think the cards are in the hand to make that happen, but we're pretty equal to last year, I believe, in Atlanta. But let's jump into these numbers. All right, so Fulton County, when did school start?
Depending on the area of Fulton County, City of Atlanta was a little different. But
last week?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago? So here's the reality of the real estate industry. Historically, when school starts, it also starts the slowdown of the real estate market until the end. Although, I'm not sure that's going to happen this year. I think there's this unknown factor or known factor of interest rates And at close of business Friday, the national average was 6.58% mortgage rate. We've all been hoping and praying for this 6.5. Housing Wire talks about anything less than 6.64 increases buyer demand. So I actually think we're going to see a little increase in buyer demand going forward. But let's fact check it, right? So in Fulton County, we had 124 go active under contract the last 7 days. We had 264 that are currently pending. So I hadn't really seen a slowdown here. We have 177 that closed out in the last 7 days. If I go back a month before, we were 273. So that's quite a bit different in Fulton County, yet the week before this week was 275. So maybe it's just a fluctuation of the week, maybe I don't know. DeKalb County, we had 628 in the active inventory, which I expected. I expect this number to slowly come down as we tailor towards the end of the year. But we had 89 properties go under contract. That's the highest number since middle of June for DeKalb County. So could I call that an interest rate bump? Maybe. We had 175 pending. That's the highest number since July. Could I call that an interest rate bump? Maybe. We had 119 close out, which is a little low, yet we were pretty healthy the 2 weeks prior in DeKalb County. Cobb County, we had 578 on the active inventory change, which is pretty consistent, maybe a little tapered down. 89 went under contract, which we had 105 the week before, 94, 85. So top, it's healthy when it's over 100. 89 is not bad. It's probably good. But we have 192 pending in Cobb County right now, where we were 160 the week before, 182 the week before that. Leading into the end of the month, last month we were at 184, we're at 192 now. So August is pretty healthy in Cobb County, and there were 137 that closed out in the last 7 days. So Jason, your perspective on the numbers?
It's the middle of the month, and there we go. It worked. Awesome. Damn. Anyway, I think it's the middle of the month. I do think the tick up in the under contracts in DeKalb County, for example, was interesting. I'm not surprised by the drop in closings. I don't know why, but people do not schedule closings in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me, but I did.
All right. Well, couple other talking points that I want to make sure we hit is ChatGPT. So here, let me give you an AI perspective real quick before we jump into this. So Gary Keller was talking about 3 phases of AI at Mega Agent Camp, and he said the first phase is really just exposure to it, awareness to it. And he said, look, some people have leaned in pretty heavy into this, and others are still asking basic questions in ChatGPT at this point. Some hadn't even downloaded it. And I find that troubling, but I think we're probably at an 80% in our industry right now around some level of exposure, some level of adoption to AI. Then the second phase he talks about is generative engine optimization, which is lead generation. However, I was in a conversation recently that said it feels like we've rolled the clock back to 2010. And this is what they mean by that. In 2010, agents were writing blog posts, doing a lot of content in the internet space with the hopes of being found from like a search engine optimization perspective. Well, what's happening is AI is quickly and drastically changing lead generation in the internet space, meaning people used to go to Google and type, hey, who are the top 3 agents in DeKalb County? And now they're going to ChatGPT and typing, hey, who are the top 3 real estate agents I should talk to about selling my house based on track record and reviews? And those lists are different. So what's happening is the internet world is being reset with AI around how people are found. And the ones that are going to lean into this quickly are going to figure out a lead generation tactic for real estate around what he's calling generative engine optimization, which is AI SEO, basically. And I think lead generation is going to change with AI really quickly and really fast. And leaning into it is probably the wise thing to do. All that to say, ChatGPT rolled out version 5.0 last week. And, you know, here's what's different about it. It's faster, it has taste, it lies less, and it reasons better. How you like that? All that means is it's processing much faster. If you think about your iPhone, or if you're one of the others, they constantly were talking about speed. And if you think about how fast your iPhone worked in the beginning versus how fast your iPhone works now, there's a drastic speed improvement. AI is going through that speed improvement right now. The other thing is it has taste. So if you haven't played with AI recently, you can ask it to rewrite something with a sarcastic tone, rewrite something in Baroque, rewrite something in level 5th grade language. It's starting to create more taste and style choices, and it says it lies less. I think most people believe AI is truth, but it's not 100% accurate yet. And the model is far less likely to hallucinate or invent facts. Uh, it elevates AI from an unreliable tool to a more trustworthy business tool for summarizing data and analyzing documents you can actually depend on. What's starting to happen is you're starting to be able to put spreadsheets. At some point in time, we're going to be able to download all our stats into AI and get insights from it and all kinds of stuff. I just think about like our industry update. We have years of data now, and AI is going to be able to find insights in there here that Jason and I aren't going to see, right? It's moving so fast. So anyway, it was just kind of a conversation around AI. Gary also talked about from stage that real estate could be in a recession until late 2026. I want to caution you, this doesn't mean the economy is in a recession. He's talking about real estate as an industry being in a recession. And, the other comment he made was, and Jason, please pipe in if you've got a different perspective, but he was talking about pendulum shifts. So when we were in a heavy, hyper inflated real estate market, the pendulum was swung way over. But that pendulum swung back the other direction. And if you're not aware, we're in jeopardy of being in a buyer's market. And I would say there's probably some pockets that are in a buyer's market. And we haven't been in that in decades. And what he's saying is it's probably going to take till next year for that market to balance back out. Yet that doesn't mean nothing selling. It doesn't mean real estate isn't moving. I actually think the interest rates coming down to where they are is going to cause the market to move a little faster. All he's saying is it's probably going to take until 2026 to kind of balance out. Did you hear anything different, Jason?
I think one of the things that he said about the pendulum swift is how necessary it is for our industry. Like he's like, it has to happen. Every element of the economy has that pendulum in that piece of the economy, and for our part of the economy, it is absolutely necessary because that is how people thrive if they're doing the right things. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom of this article, the last quote was Gary being Gary. There are empires being built right now off the bones of the individuals that won't get out of bed and do the work. That was like the mic drop of the entire event.
So give me a coach perspective on that, Jason. If I'm listening, I'm an agent, and I hear you say that. What's that mean?
I mean, like a year ago, he said, hey, listen, we used to say 3 hours of lead gen. In order to get the results that you're looking for, you may have to do 5 hours of lead gen now. And the reality of it is, in 2020 through 2022, there were a lot of people that were making a lot of money that weren't doing a lot of work. And what this is saying to me is the people that are getting up, they're going to work, they're doing the work. When we're on the other side of this pendulum swing, they're going to be the ones that are running empires.
All right. Keller Williams hired a chief marketing officer. We've never had a chief marketing officer. We've always had a marketing department. But I got some time to spend with her in San Antonio last week, and she's amazing. And yet she's new to the role and getting her everything wrapped around this. Yet Canva partnership's going to be the first big thing. We're expecting it in the next week or two. Don't hold me to that. I'm sure they want it perfect before they roll it out. Although I got a chance to look at it on the back end, and it's pretty amazing. They've got all the templates in there, and it's connected to your commands. So, Jason, if you take a listing, all your listing photos will automatically be in Canva. All your listing description will automatically be in Canva. It's just a drag and drop thing into the templates, and it's pretty slick. Every KW agent gets what's called an enterprise account. So some people have been paying for Canva Professional. Not that you couldn't elect to continue to pay, but my suspicion is you won't have to pay. And it's pretty slick. So just heads up, there's going to be a lot of changes coming from a marketing standpoint. And the big one is Canva coming rather quickly.
And can I add on? It's also not only synced to your listings, but it's synced to the MLS data. And a lot of the graphics that are preloaded in there, you can go in and compare neighborhoods and what have you. And they're interactive social posts that were so flipping cool. But I think the integration to the MLSs is the part that may be slowing down the launch a little bit, just like with Command back in the day.
Perfect. All right. Next article hits on something we were already talking about. Mortgage rates dropped to another new low for 2025. Man, we're just holding out on that 6.5. Can I point out the 15-year fix is below 6? Can I point out the FHA is almost at 6? The VA is almost at 6. But 6.5, I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of people that have been sitting on the fence that are going to come off the fence in the next 30 to 90 days. I love that. All right. This one's fun, Jason. So here's what you need to know. Most Gen Z and millennials future refinancing. So we've made this statement that said, date the rate, marry the house for a while now. And I think Gen Z and millennials are doing exactly that. Now, are they right or are they wrong? It's debatable. I don't think they're buying houses if they don't qualify, but they may be stretching themselves a little bit. And I also know there's a generation here that was left out of first-time home buying for a very long time. So I think it's probably worth the risk. It's probably worth the push to get the Gen Zs and millennials into houses. You know, the thing I think about, Jason, is if somebody buys a house and 10 years later, the effect on wealth in their portfolio over that 10-year period is huge. Yet somebody that sat on the sidelines for 10 years, waiting on an interest rate environment to be able to get into a house, the negative effect on their wealth is huge too. And I know we've talked about this, but I like to reiterate that, you know, when I bought my first house, I will call it a value house, meaning I bought a house that needed cosmetic repairs. I got it at a less than market value, and I horribly did a lot of the repairs myself. But yet, that's how I got into my first house. And I also had friends that we call it house hacking. They would buy their first house and then get roommates to help them pay the mortgage. And the world changed. And I don't see people doing that these days. I don't see first time homebuyers going, hey, I'm willing to take a less than perfect property to get into my first house. They want perfect. I don't see people taking on roommates to help pay for things. And I just think it's interesting. I mean, I go back to Meg Agent Camp and thinking, man, agents used to share hotel rooms all the time. That was how they attended these events at lower cost. And then now all of a sudden everybody has to have their own hotel room, but they're incurring twice the expense. It's just the world changed. Is it right or wrong? Make your own opinion. What I'm saying is, I think we should be challenging the thinking of first-time homebuyers, specifically Gen Z and millennials, are going, hey, it's more important that you get into a house than it being perfect or you not having a roommate. I don't know. Just my thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I bought my house, my amazing realtor, I don't know if he's on the call or not, he told me when I had a little freak out moment about, well, what if something happens? He's like, you can get a roommate. You can do this. You can do that. Whatever it means, whatever you need to do. The thing is, you don't have to worry about your rent going up every year. You don't have to worry about your landlord deciding to sell the house, which is what happened to me with the house that I was renting. So we definitely need to present it. I think what happened was there were a lot of people that bought homes when they were waiving due diligence, they were waiving inspection, and they're like, oh, I can fix that. And as Larry from Lens Pro says, they didn't even own a screwdriver. So, you know, I think that we're on the pendulum swing of that going all the way the other way. And then I think we'll come back to center with, when I read this article, the thing that I was worried about is, are those people buying the homes relying on the future refinancing, thinking that they're going to be able to refinance at 2.5%? And I think it is on us to set proper expectations that they're not going to see that again.
I agree. I found this article in the Atlanta Business Chronicle. It says Metro Atlanta is growing a lot, but at a slower pace than before. And so, for instance, let me find the data here. Between 1980 and 2010, there were 78,000 new residents per year coming into Metro Atlanta. Between 2010 and 2020, there were 68,400 new residents coming in. And between 2022 and 2025, there's 64,000. So, yes, there's less, but we're still a growing metropolitan area. If you follow the real estate stats, we just got the population number for last year. I think it comes out in June every year, if I can find it. Whatever it is. Of course, it's going to be the last one. There's 6.3 million people in Atlanta now. That's a lot. I know there's a chart. There you go. 6.411 in 2024. So there were 6.3 in 2023, 6.4 in 2024. So outside of the Great Recession, when the population went backwards, people probably moved home. The metropolitan area is growing at a rapid pace, and yet it is slowing down just a little bit.
That's still a 10% increase.
100%. 100%. So, Matt, I don't know if you want to share your screen and do the social media scripts.
Let me see if I can share my screen. If not, Corey can. That'd be great. I cannot.
Okay. I'll pull it up.
All right. Social media. We've got 3 reels for you guys off these articles. First reel is mortgage rates hit another 2025 low. That's straight out of the Housing Wire article. Number 2, Metro Atlanta growth slows, and then it frames it how that can be great for your buyers. And then number 3, the housing divide across generations. It explains the different generations and how they look at the market differently and how you can use that to communicate with your clients via social media. And then if you scroll down, Corey, we put them all together and you've got a weekly email to your sphere. We are looking, this puts all 3 articles together, but we're looking at a new AI. So we're doing this right along with you. I know you guys probably thought I stayed up all night writing these, but I don't. It takes about 5 minutes, and I do it for your benefit. But we're looking at a new AI that makes this look a little more flashy, a little more newslettery, and hopefully we'll have that out in the next 2 weeks as we learn and grow. But hope you guys have issues. And Brett is raising his hand at me.
No. So, system, right? I come on this call on Monday. I take this email. I go put it into my command. I immediately send it to my SOI. Then I go pull out my phone, and I have 3 reels for the week that I could do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And immediately, my lead generation for the week has been streamlined.
100%. So AI just probably saved you 2 hours. We saved you 20 minutes of research. You have relevant content. All you have to do is just do it. And the AI does the heavy lifting for you. We do the research. Brett does the articles. And it should be so easy. And this is just that whole thing we're talking about embracing AI as not making you less human, just taking the load off so you can go out and be more of you. Does that make sense?
100%. Any questions, guys? You can drop it in the chat. I'm looking through the chat, talking about price points. I don't see any questions. So thank y'all for being here. We'll start and end on time today.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.